for those headlines.
Thank you.
Joining us now, of course, is Barrister Chiagozie Nwabuko, who is a legal practitioner, chartered mediator, and conciliator. Barrister Nwabuko, good morning.
Welcome. Good morning to you, Natalie. Good morning to you, Oji.
Good morning. Welcome.
Now, Oji has another male contender to intimidate the only woman representing.
I don't know. Let's say that this is Wednesday. It has to be only women. Right here, you know, celebrating.
I'm a feminist, so consider me a feminist. I'm a feminist.
Oh, you see, on today's show, you see we're going to talk about August meeting today.
No problems.
For the August meeting. By the time all the women, everybody will come. You'll be pursued off the set. Don't worry.
You know my style. Keep quiet and just listen to you guys.
I am the petrol of woman. That's why we are together.
Okay, so I mean, so many interesting headlines. Welcome once again. We'll begin our review with Daily Trust. Southern candidate Jonathan Obi. Now it appears that former President Goodluck Jonathan is being courted to go ahead and contest for re-election in 2027. Obi's, of course, presidential bid is already well known. So I would like to gain your input on the Jonathan Obi debate, especially amid the PDP internal crisis. PDP is currently considering two candidates, of course, to probably throw their weight behind come 2027. Jonathan or Obi, your take?
Well, I think it's a little bit premature for them to consider Obi because Obi is not a member of the PDP. So, and they have not actually, the PDP has not actually extended the consensus arrangement to get Obi as their sole candidate, because as of now, the only thing that will make Obi to port to any party is if he's given sole ticket, you know, to run without having to contend for primaries. If there is going to be a consensus candidate for PDP, that has not happened. Obi has not said he's a member of the PDP. He has not indicated that he has any interest of going back to the PDP. As of now, he's still a member of the Labour Party. But then Jonathan appears to be still in PDP. He has never moved, he's still in PDP. So if PDP is saying they are vouching for Jonathan, then good. But then Obi is not a member of the PDP, so that is a little bit premature.
Right, but right now we're not even sure if Jonathan wants to go ahead and contest because they're still courting him. And recall that Atiku Abubakar, who was the key PDP candidate, has left to join ADC. So right now, things are really heated, as you can obviously tell. So, Jonathan, do you see him making a big comeback?
He has nothing to lose, honestly speaking. He has nothing to lose. If he contests and loses, he has nothing to lose. He has tasted power, he has enjoyed power, and then he willingly handed over power to Buhari. So, he has nothing to lose. In fact, I believe that PDP will come up with a Jonathan to run. That's my take.
Wouldn't that be regarding political calculations? I know Goodluck Jonathan is an intelligent man.
Very
right.
Well.
So, and it's somebody I know that also, you know, from his trajectory, he wants Nigeria to move to that promised land, the right things to be in the right places and all that stuff, right? Now, him being fingered to the PDP as stated, right? Won't he decline, knowing fully what if him going into this race is going to make somehow getting that concept he has always wanted, have the rightful nation, you know, very narrow for Peter Obi, because apparently he is an individual that supports Peter Obi. From the last election, we can see him throwing his weight, you know, all the goodwill messages he was writing about Peter Obi, right? Would he, as an intelligent man he is, and with his political calculation, and also having Nigeria at heart to move forward, right, to get it right, you know, clinching or agreeing to run under the PDP, knowing fully well that there's a candidate everybody's clamoring for in the person of Peter Obi?
You know, politics is a game of interest. That I believe it doesn't mean that if I have an opportunity of running, I will not run. It's a different ball game, it's a different kettle of fish. So he's a politician. And politicians, they don't reason like us. We are logical. Politicians are political. I don't see them as very logical. I see them as being political. They have something that they intend to. In fact, Jonathan will not even run to win, because personally, I don't think he has the goodwill he had when he was very active in national politics.
Running to disrupt.
Maybe it's possible. That's politics for you. You may be running to help Tinubu, because the bottom line now is the northern votes.
Yeah.
Who will cut the northern votes? Who will get the millions of votes in the north? That is the game. That's the game plan. And so, if we have lots of southern interest, that means that invariably President Tinubu will come back to power. So most of this may be political shenanigans, and this person is coming out. Definitely, the votes of the South will be divided, and then President Tinubu may likely come back. So for me, I think it's politics also.
Okay.
All right, let's take a look at the Punch. Big story here. Nationwide arrest. Federal government warns of 5-day flooding in 19 states. Now, before we get into the specific states being warned or cautioned, how do you feel about the flood response of the federal government?
I think we have been merely reactionary, which is not not the proper thing to do. These things happen every year. It's not as if it's an act of God that we didn't know about. Nigeria gets flooded every year, especially Lagos, the Lagos angle. We see Lagos because part of Lagos, most part of the Lagos land is they are reclaimed from the sea. So these things happen every year. Also in Anambra, and also in Niger State, these are part of the state that experience flooding every year. And then we have the Ministry of Environment. We have NIMET on the other side. So for me, I don't get it. The flooding is already here. So what are they worrying about? The flooding is already here. They say that it's going to be more intense than what it is now because the flooding is here with us. So my worry is that in Nigeria, we appear to be reactionaries. This is happening every year. We know the flashpoints, and every year, Nigerian part of the country is flooded. So why don't we make arrangements? Now, we are giving people notice now to do what within 5 days. What do they expect the residents to do? Like they are announced in Lagos, Ikorodu, they should vacate within 5 days. How? How? What will you do in 5 days? You move your entire family, your businesses out in 5 days. How feasible is that? So I think we are being reactionary. These things happen every year, and we should have, the Ministry of Environment should have foreseen this through NIMET and then made arrangements for Nigerians. Like I said, the flood is already there. In some states, they have lost people. People have died. Properties, what belongs have destroyed. So I know it happens every year, yet we are caught by accidents every year.
All right, so we have some of the states, including Akwa Ibom, Bauchi, Ebonyi, which is here in the southeast, Cross River, Nasarawa, Benue, Katsina, Kaduna. You know, so we are seeing this, and this is just to name a few, right? We're seeing this happen all the time, but we have ministries of environment.
Yes.
Sometimes they believe that the challenge of flooding is beyond their ministries. They believe that this is an emergency situation that should be handled by SEMA or on a national scale, NEMA. I mean, I start to get curious. I start to question the capacity of the Ministry of Environment. If such serious matters like this cannot have that proactive reaction, like you talked about earlier, the proactive step to mitigate against it. So what exactly can they do to help the situation beyond saying that it's beyond their ministry?
You see, it bothers me. We have lots of agencies that are on environment, aside the NGOs that are also monitoring the environment, right? We have, like you said, the SEMA in the states, the NEMA. Then you have the NIMET. They are political, they are weather forecast. So they know this is before they happen. Then we have the Ministry of Environment. We are not seeing a cohesion. We are not seeing a cohesion between these agencies because we would have been proactive foreseeing these things, and then if we have to evacuate some of our people, we evacuate them. You see, environmental issues may not actually do anything besides evacuation of people. So evacuate people when the flooding is over. You come, but then you ask yourself, what are the causes of this flooding? Some of them are irresponsibility of the people. Some of the waterways are blocked by the citizens. So what are the ministries doing? What is SEMA doing? What are the Ministry of Environment doing? Most of these are irresponsibilities. Some of them are poor planning. You see, sometimes in government you have to step on toes to get the right things. Some houses are built on waterways, and those houses must be demolished. No matter what people are saying about government, demolish those waters on the buildings on the waterways, then unclog all those areas that are blocked by irresponsibility of citizens who are dumping refuse and all manner of materials in waterways. So these are the actions we can take to prevent the harsh effects of these environmental conditions.
Would that overhaul, be detrimental to the people too? Because apparently, and also the agencies who approved people building on these waterways, won't that overhaul, be detrimental?
Somebody must be held responsible and liable for breaching environmental protocols. You see, like sometimes in cities like in Enugu, the government will start demolishing structures, and then the government is telling you that these structures are not supposed to be there, they offend the master plan. Then you ask yourself, those people that build those houses had building approvals from local government authorities. So people must be held accountable for irresponsibilities in government. If somebody who gave an approval for a place that is not in the master plan, that person should be questioned or sacked or fired or whatever, or penalized or suspended. So we should be held responsible for our activities activities as individuals and as operatives of government. So we cannot continue this way because the lives of Nigerians are at risk. If you don't demolish those structures, if you don't unclog all those clogged areas, definitely people will continue to die. The flood will come and people will die. Even the people you are trying to protect will die. And properties what belongs to the law. So people must be held responsible for their actions in government.
All right, and now we're seeing the computer-based tests in the news again, following the situation and controversies concerning JAMB earlier. So on the Punch, CBT fears surge as well after decade worst WASC results. WASC 2 has released ultimately poor performance in this year's WAEC or WASC exam. So people are obviously concerned. They are curious about the efficacy of the CBT platform which they wrote the exams on. Same thing that happened with JAMB. Concerns are being raised. WAEC is praising it. The body is praising its anti-malpractice measures. You know, lots of mixed reactions because of what happened with JAMB. Do you feel that we're heading again in the direction of JAMB, or is CBT really doing its work? Are the anti-malpractice measures really working this time around?
I think that the CBT has actually, what will I say? CBT is actually not functioning in Nigeria, not because it's not a good model, it's because the people who are implementing it. I don't think we have any backup arrangements. If this system fails, we don't have a backup arrangement. Sometimes the CBT system might malfunction. Like they say, there's a surge or there's a glitch in the system. If it happens, people who naturally or normally would have passed the exams would have failed for no just cause. So how do you encourage people to study? How do you encourage students to study when the computer-based testing machine is failing, when there's a network failure, there's a glitch in the system? So I think the CBT is a good arrangement. It's good as an malpractice machinery, but then do we have the facility to make it to work?
If in fact there's a glitch with this year's WASC exam, if there's a glitch with WASC this year rather, can we talk about the ripple effect of that? Unlike JAMB that can be taken on a single day per candidate, WASC is at least a month-long exam. Who is going to decide to resit a month-long exam if truly there are any glitches?
That is my worry. So before you do anything, you check about the after effect of what you want to do. When we adopted this, we said we want to use it to discourage examination malpractice. I always ask myself a question: who are the promoters of examination malpractice? Is it not the examination bodies? Are they not people who release the expos to these students, who pay for them? So for me, I think we have a systemic issue. It's not just about the machine. We have the systemic issues, and until we fix it, we'll continue to spiral down to nothingness. So we have the systemic issue. The operators of the CBT are the problem, not the CBT itself.
Do you think that the examination bodies have done enough to prove to Nigerians that they have truly cleared up all the bad imagery that went out when JAMB had that glitch? Because after the JAMB announced retaking and resitting, that was it. Candidates went and retook and then got their results, some of them that retook the exam. But at the same time, did they do anything to actually solve the problem that they created? Suddenly the Minister of Education went silent despite everything he said. What was actually done to help revive the image of CBT in Nigeria beyond making candidates pay for their own glitch? Do you see this cascading into a bigger problem simply because the CBT is not trusted and the bodies charged with regulating that CBT are doing nothing to actually restore the trust of the ordinary candidates, the ordinary parents, and the ordinary institution?
I think that because we've not held anybody responsible. See, on a good day, the minister would have been sacked, right? Those who are operating the CBT should have been sacked. It will be a lesson. Now, after it, did they have a test run like the SSCE? Was there a test run? Was there a mock kind of arrangement so we can see
to show people that
there's integrity in the system? They don't really care. You know, the other day I was here, I was looted as being anti-government. But the issue is this:
who called you anti-government?
They don't. Why you call me anti-government? Oh, you said I'm hitting the government. But
why did you call Barr anti-government? On air, live on air.
I am pro-government. So we want Nigeria to get better. The bottom line is that we want Nigeria to get better. So after the JAMB issues, I expected a mock exam where they used to test from what they have done so that we can see and have confidence. I have kids who write exams. So I'm not that like kids may write exam at the end of the day, there's a malfunction in the system, and then there's some of my kids feel, I won't feel happy about that. When people are passing through trauma because of the irresponsibilities of agencies of government, it should not continue. So nobody has been held accountable for these lapses. These are systemic lapses. They are not acts of God. They are acts of men, and they should be held responsible.
When you're talking about lapses too, are you also putting in consideration that something is lost somewhere? Our educational system, the rot in it too, could actually be part of all the reasons why we are seeing results like this. Because at the end of the day, is when these candidates, these students go in to write these examinations, you really ascertain if they've been paying attention or studying. Would we always blame the CBT? Let's talk about the students, the candidates.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a government failure, right? They believe that they can, get it easy in life without having to sit down to study. And who are they copying? The leaders, obviously. They have people who are there at the top. All they do is siphon funds. They're not investing in education. The other day we talked about the recruitment of teachers. Most teachers who are recruited are not qualified. Why? Because it's politicized. Teachers' recruitment in states are majorly politicized. So we have student teachers who are not competent to impart information. And then you see some schools that there are things that happen in Nigeria that baffles me. You have miracle centers that are known to examination bodies. And they register the centers. We call them miracle centers. And people go there now. Once you are there, malpractice is a norm. It's an arranged thing. And the government is aware of this. Examination body register these centers. And then who is fooling who? So at the end of the day, it all boils down to government failure. Because these students who refuse to sit down to study are looking at our fathers and our mothers in politics who do nothing but siphon funds meant for education. They're not interested in their education. So what do these young people do? What do? They look for an easy way out. That is malpractice. And there's a collaboration between the students, the school authorities, the government, the examination bodies is a collaboration. And at the end of the day, we are producing half-baked graduates.
That's deep. Okay.
I mean, major concerns that you've raised, Barrister Nwabuko, but at the end of the day, I remember when the whole JAM saga started and people were wondering if students prepared enough. And then when everything happened, it gained widespread media attention. Initially, people thought that JAM was right. Maybe the students were ill prepared. They were talking about distractions. I remember Elijah even conducted a report in Nsukka where we saw lecturers saying things like, oh, it's because they're not reading. They're always on their phones. They're doing. Some people were holding those opinions. But we now later discovered that this had nothing to do with the students. The question really is, why is it now that CBT is being affected in Nigeria, especially with WAEC, for instance, that we're seeing such low performance? I mean, I really would like to know how this is going to turn out. Barrister Nwabuko, if you look at this objectively, where do you see this emerging news story going? Where do you see this transcending to? Do you see this just dying away, the blame being put on the shoulders of the candidates? Or do you see this making a swift U-turn like it did with JAM and the body coming out to make some interesting declarations?
I hope they'll make a U-turn. I hope they will come out and be honest with Nigerians that there's a failure in the system and then address it. We are Nigerians. We should not stand aloof and pass our young people through trauma, which is not their making, which is the making of examination bodies. They should come out and say, see, we had a problem, we are sorry about that. And then they try to reschedule the exams and then make it easier for students to write the exams and then let them pass if they are prepared for their studies. So I hope they have a rethink, because it's not just a one-off thing. Because see, in Nigeria, most times we don't really give a hoot about what people are passing through. We have done the exams, we have done the exams. People are killed in the country every day. We explain it away and then we move on. But we can't continue to move on like that. That's not how to build a society.
All right, let's look at other headlines taken from The Nation, and of course it also cuts across to The Guardian. First Lady, of course, Remi Tinubu, through her Renewed Hope initiative, has lifted Mokwa flood victims with 1 billion naira. How do you feel about that story?
Well, it's cheering on the face of it, but then maybe she will distribute the 1 billion to every other state, because we have flood victims everywhere. I hope it's not politicized. For us here in Nigeria, politics is everything. So it's cheering. But the most important thing, will it get to the real victims? Will it just be a mere newsworthy news? And at the end of the day, the real victims, are they actually getting it, or is it be for members of the APC? Will it be shared amongst party chieftains? That's the issue. 1 billion naira released. I don't know whether she has such access to money, because there's nothing like the office of a first lady. So So where she getting money from there?
All right.
Any which way.
Platform Times, INEC warns parties against premature campaigns for 2027 elections. We're seeing a lot of steam, like Oji pointed out earlier, gathering ahead of 2027, conversations going on, which candidate are we going to field, who are we going to back, who is going to win, who is going to be there, both at the state in 2027 and at the federal in 2027. But INEC is coming out and saying, please, campaigns have not started. Back off, hold on. I mean, what are the subliminal ways that we're seeing candidates, contenders for 2027 trying to market themselves?
Well, the campaigns are already here. And no matter what INEC does, INEC cannot stop it. Do you know why? Because the ruling party started the campaign. We started seeing endorsements everywhere. Even right from last year, there were endorsements that the president will go again, that we are for him, the governors are for him. What do you expect the opposition to do? Do you expect them to wring their hands in despair? No. So the campaigns are here. Parties are coming together. The candidates are being told. There's nothing INEC can do about it because INEC cannot sanction the ruling party. So every other is a free-for-all fight. Everybody's campaigning. Even the least parties, everybody's campaigning.
Everybody's campaigning, that's right.
Okay, let me just call my attention, right? Dreaded terrorists, Platform Times. Dreaded terrorists, Bello Tuji, Toji, by the way, surrenders weapons, frees 32 captives in Zamfara peace deal. A good one for Nigeria or the military. What's your take?
Well, partially good. For me, partially good. Yeah, it's good that, especially on the side of captives being released, it's good that Nigerians regain their freedom. But then the government, the military has to go the extra mile by capturing the Lotuji himself. So because it's like he's doing a peace deal, that we are operating from the weak angle. So we are making peace with terrorists.
That's the reason why I asked you the question. Is it a good one for Nigeria? Just surrendering the weapons and freeing 32 captives and all that. Is it literally what we would hold? And yes, we've actually attained something.
We've not attained anything, but I'm happy for the captives that are released. At least they can go back to their families after several weeks or months of trauma. They can now go back to their loved ones. On that angle, I say good. But then we have to do more. Because we don't know the other side of the bargain, because they have told us that they have released. What did the federal government give to them? That is the issue. What did the government give? Because it's a deal. In a deal, they have a win-win situation. So what did the government give to them? Did the government give them money? Did the government give Belutuchi money? Because it's a deal. So what is the other part of the bargain? What is the content of the agreement? Like you are sitting down with a terrorist and you are discussing issues. So what did the government offer to Belutuchi to release the captives? That is why we have a problem. But it's good that the captives are free. At least they can reunite with their families and then go back to their homes. And then after several months or weeks of trauma is good. But then we should do more to stand down everything called terror and terrorism in Nigeria.
Negotiating with terrorists.
Well, sometimes you negotiate. Me, I'm anti-negotiation, right? But if your loved one is there, brother, you negotiate. That's why I see it. Right. I am anti-negotiation with terrorists. But then if your loved one is there, my brother, my sister, you will negotiate for the sake of the lives of your loved ones who are in captivity.
We're looking at a big business in Nigeria now, and that is kidnapping. Really antisocial, but it's emerging. People say, I saw a post recently where we saw a prominent Nigerian saying, you can make 20 million in just a few hours. You can imagine that kind of rhetoric going round. We're seeing police arresting sisters for faking abduction to extort 5 million naira from father. I mean, what do you make of this? The surge in kidnapping and the things family members are doing to themselves just to make a quick buck.
There's a sociological aspect of it. There's a religious aspect of it. There's also a political angle to it. For me, I believe the sociological aspect of it is where our society, we are training our young ones to believe that they can make money without working hard. And these are basically sponsored by our politicians and all those people who are high up there, giving the young people the impression that you can make money without working hard. There's a political angle to it. The political angle is that most of those people who are doing those things are lackeys of government. They have access to cashier of arms and ammunition. You cannot go into any shop and buy guns in Nigeria. You cannot go into any supermarket and buy bullets. These men and women, they have access to cashier of ammunition. So where are they getting it from? So there's also an issue of a military operative. They are involved. Security agencies are involved. So that's why I say there's a political angle. If we are serious about security in Nigeria, these things will go down. We may not entirely stamp it out, but then it will go down if the government is actually interested in stopping crime. There's no difference between kidnapping and robbery. All of them are crime. So if we see it as a criminal act and face it and make sure that our societies are secure and we don't play politics with security, then these things will go down in Nigeria.
All right. What university did you attend, Vice Nwabuko?
I'm a proud alumni of Enugu State University of Science and Technology.
All right. Okay, because there's a question I would like to ask you, but this is not concerning your institution. This concerns UNN and the fact that they have a new VC.
Which we donated to them. The new VC of UNN is my dean faculty of medicine that we donated to UNN. So you see, we're doing.
Oh my God, that's I mean, that's new information. That's the information. Yeah. So I'd like you to just be on standby, because when we come back from this break, I would like us to discuss the task before the new VC of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. So please don't go anywhere, just stay with us. I would like to know your input on this, especially as we're seeing a lot of dilapidation in UNN that needs urgent attention and revitalization. The Morning Show returns in just seconds. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show live from Enugu. Now we'll take this quicker story before we gain Barr Nwabuko's input on the task before the new Vice Chancellor of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Nigeria's first indigenous university. Now, following his emergence as the 16th Vice Chancellor of UNN, Prof. Simon Ortuanya, in his acceptance speech, pledged to lead the university with dedication and vision. Let's take a listen.
Humbly accept your appointment as Vice Chancellor of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I thank the Almighty God that have brought this about today. In a special way, I appreciate our President, His Excellency, Chiagozie Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the transformation that he has brought to bear in education in Nigeria. I want to appreciate the Chancellor of our university, the Oni of Ife, for being a father to our university. Let me appreciate our Governor, His Excellency, Dr. Peter Ndubuisimba, Governor of Enugu State, for his determination and commitment, for his doggedness and single-mindedness in making sure that today become a reality. I want to thank everybody that have been part of this process. Let me commend and thank all my colleagues, the professors, my brothers and sisters that went through this journey with me. And I want to say that I'm welcoming them all in our efforts to rebuild our alma mater. I want to thank you all, and I make this solemn pledge to dedicate my life in the next 5 years in service of humanity, to restore the dignity of man and to uphold the dignity of man. So help me God.
The new Vice Chancellor of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Barr Nwabuko is still here. Barr Nwabuko, what is your first reaction? I mean, now you've given us new information that Institute has borrowed, has lent this UVC to UNN. So that's some new information that we'll keep. But now he has started. Election is over. Politics is over. It's time for him to govern the school, to return its past glory. What's your expectation from him as he embarks on this journey?
Once again, I want to say congratulations to Professor Simon Ortuanya. We have already done that in our platform. We held him. I think he's a square peg in a square hole. He will do awesome wonders in UNN, I assure you. You know, UNN is a prime university in Nigeria, and UNN is also the pride of Igbo land. So we can't talk about education, university education in Igbo land, in the southeast, without mentioning UNN. UNN is our pride, right? It's our pride. And the motto of UNN is to restore the dignity of man. If you look at this decision, is there dignity in this decision now? I think that's what Professor Simon Ortuanya will do. And let me say this on air. You know, the brief period he was with us in the institute, you know, we battled the law faculty for accreditation. He helped us get a secure accreditation in the institute. So institute law faculty was newly re-accredited because of the contributions of Professor Simon Ortuanya. If you come to faculty of institute now, he's wearing a new look, infrastructure and academic wise, and that is kudos to Professor Simon Ortuanya. I expect him to replicate that in UNN. He's good in infrastructure. He's an academic by excellence. He's stout. He's intelligent. He's brilliant. He's a consul. So I believe that he will bring that to bear in UNN as regards to academic activities and then infrastructure. He's good on that. Like he did it in Esut, in the Faculty of Law. If you come to Faculty of Law Esut, and this when they look. And that was kudos to Professor Simon Ortuanya. He did it.
Could you give us specific details of what Professor Ortuanya did at Faculty of Law in Esut?
Infrastructure. We have a modern computerized library now. Under him, yes. Initially, it used to be a monologue, an analog library, but then Professor Ortuanya's delayed it in. We have a modern electronic library in Esut now. And he did it. Yes, he did. The infrastructure, when you look, if you come to Faculty of Esut now, is beautiful. Everything about it. And then the lecturers are doing well because of his huge contribution. So I believe that he will bear it today. Remember, he was the former secretary to the government under Governor Ortuanya. So he's going to be politics and academics today to push UNN forward.
What could be his test to leadership? Inheriting every, as it's stated, to the decay in the UNN, driving it and remodeling the school to gain back its old past glory. What could be a test of leadership?
Like I said, I mentioned earlier on that he did wonders in Faculty of Law. We were battling accreditation, but he came and then, because of his contribution, Esut Law Faculty was reaccredited again because of his contribution. So you see, he has a political angle and he has an academic angle, and this is with there to book because he's a politician, right? He's still a politician, So I believe that he will work with the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He also work with the government of Enugu State, because all this has to do with funding. Funding is key for this structure. Some of them will be refurbished, and if you are not in tune with the government of the day, you don't really go very far. So I think he'll bring that to bear. He's good in infrastructure, he's very sound, and he's good in academic excellence. He will encourage lecturers to do their work. Even the non-teaching staff, they will do their work. So I believe that he will deliver UNN. UNN will see a new look starting from now.
When last did you visit UNN?
Okay, I've not gone to Nsukka of recent, but Enugu campus, yes.
Enugu campus, all right. So when you look at UNN as a whole, what do you think the university needs the most? Of all the needs of the institution, what do you think ranks number one? I
think it is infrastructure decay, because they have competent lecturers. It was a school I wanted to attend. It didn't work out. So I tried my very best to get to UNN. It didn't work out. So I opted for Esut. That's good. But then I think the most challenge UNN is facing now is infrastructure delay. The hostels are a mess. They are unlivable. When I talk about it, I remember what Kelly Bedelop talks about education in Nigeria. So the hostels are unlivable, uninhabitable. So I think they need to look at those facilities. The classrooms, some of the blocks are just glorified poetry. So I think they need to work on this infrastructure and then the energy sector. They have these power outages. So these are the issues. But when it has to do with lecturers, they have top-notch lecturers that will deliver. But then the infrastructure is the area I intend to work on.
Okay, but regarding what's happening right there, and also sometimes the governing body shouldn't be allowed to do everything right. Do you think at this point in time they should consider approaches like PPP to remodel these hostels or some infrastructure in a school, or is too much of asking that maybe this is just for state outsourcing?
So let's see, when you have a competent leader, he knows how to, in collaboration with the governing council, the school senate, and every other operating in the school, to reach out to definitely we have to get the public to invest in the school. We have to get the public to invest in the school and know how to recoup their investments in the school. So, but if you have a person who has this lackluster attitude towards leadership, then I think Professor Ortuanya will fill that gap. He's like I said, he's pro-development, he's pro-infrastructure. You see in the next couple of weeks, you see UNN shining. So I believe that he will work with the society, work with private investors who can come to UNN to invest in the school, to help in infrastructure upgrade in the school. If he does that, UNN will regain its lost glory.
I think it's going to be a double win, academia and politician.
All right, thank you so much, Barr Nwabuko, for your time this morning, and we'll continue to monitor and see how this new VC fares. If he's able to deliver what he delivered,
he will. I trust him.
He will. He will do it.
And there's an Nsukka angle to it. There's an Nsukka angle. People of Nsukka celebrated for the first time. And Nsukkarian. And Nsukkarian is not the VC. So there's going to be a lot of collaboration. The community will support. Enugu State will support UNN. Nsukka Nation will support UNN. So there's a lot of angle to that. I believe that Professor Simon Ortuanya will do wonders. I support him. I believe him. I'm from Niger State.
Okay.
They see, but when I see good things, I vote for good things.
Now,
I stand by good things.
New information is just dropping everywhere. Now I know you're my brother as well. Because
I didn't know. Beautiful. I didn't know about that.
We have news.
Where's the news? Give us the news.
Please, let's get to the news.
So I believe if I say anything good, I support it. I believe in Simon Ortuanya.
This is how the
will
wind
do
blows.
wonders.
Oh, Miliki. Oji, Amaka, please give Oji the news.
Let's get to the news. We'll get back, right?
Give Oji the news of